CSS, welcome back everybody. I'm Prakash Vadan, your trainer for this entire series. Now this is the part 2 of our CSS series. In the previous series we have talked about, it's a kind of brief introduction why we need to use the CSS, okay, what was the meaning of your JavaScript and why do we need to use the HTML. Now in this session we are going to talk about the basic thing. Of course, that's going to help you a lot in order to form your base strong, so that it will help you in the coming days that you become a better web designer, better web developer. Now, since I have already discussed previously that we are going to start from the ground, so today's topic is simply a style sheet. We are going to talk about style sheet. Now, when we work in the CSS, you are having actually three types of style sheet. Number one, external style sheet. Number two, internal style sheet. And number three is inline style sheet. Now here comes the one big question. Why do I need to use this style sheet, or what is this? So let's see this one with this easiest example. Now over here, what I'm trying to show you is the inline style sheet. So let's see the meaning of this. When a user start writing a code in order to design any web page, okay, that might be small to the bigger, any size of web page that you are going to design, you might have noticed that that page is to be designed with so many colors, so many fonts, so many images, so many size of these pixels. Okay, these are the things that simply occurs actually in your element. That means your inline style sheets is basically used when you want to apply a style to a single occurrence of an element. That means when you design a one page, that page, each and every element you are going to design yourself. That means each and every text or the image that you are going to display in your web page, that you are going to design one by one by going to the particular section and providing the necessary all the tag along with its properties. So for example, if you see over here, I have used one style sheet over here. That is the inline style sheet. Now when we use the inline style sheet, we do not deal with the multiple pages. We work in a single page. So the first thing that you see over here, HTML, head, title, these all are the same thing. But when you come to this paragraph style, this is the first time you are seeing so far, if it is in your new journey for your CSS. Now this style itself helps you to define or design with certain colors or the font size you want to insert the image or anything in your CSS file. That means over here, the word that I have written welcome over here, I'd like to display this word in a paragraph with the color red, only this word. And the second paragraph that I'm having over here, that is written just a one word called txt. So this txt I would like to apply the attributes over here, the properties what you are going to apply over here with the style. Font size is 40 pixel, color is sky blue. That means all of these two words that are designed by the user with the help of code individually. So that is a kind of your inline style sheet. That means one by one you are going to design. Now there comes a big question. Now if I'm trying to design a many pages, do I have to design each and every word, each and every letter, each and every image, each and every animation that I'm supposed to apply over here? Do I have to do that? Obviously, if you are using inline style sheet, that is the best for your CSS, you'll have to do individually. So that's why we have another type of style sheet that's going to reduce a kind of your workload, so that the multiple contents can be designed with the one click. That means over here. Now the next style sheet what we are having over here is internal style sheet. Internal style sheet, actually it is used, or you want to use your HTML document to have a unique style. An internal style sheet is defined using the style tag. Don't forget. Okay, the internal style sheet is actually defined using the style tag itself. Okay, and it goes in the head section of the HTML document. Now let me tell you in easiest language what is the advantage of using this internal style sheet. So in your previous page, if you have noticed over here that each and every element that you are displaying, each and every content that you are displaying in a web page, you are supposed to design one by one in your inline style sheet. That means if I would like to have this welcome word in a red color and I would like to display this text with the normal font color, okay, but the font size I would like to have the 40. And if you, of course, if you'd like to have a different color, you can define. That means each and every contents you are going to declare over here. So that's a kind of boarding for you all. So that's why now we have a help, greater help. It's gonna save you a lot of time. That is your internal style sheet. Now this internal style sheet actually is going to help you to design your page content with just a one click. That means if you notice this below portion over here, I have two contents over here to get displayed in a body section. That is a words written third line, and over here I have written 3. So this third line what I have written over here is a one paragraph. And the second one is a header one, H1 is given over here, and where I have written simply a word. I give a 3, you can write anything. That means if I have got multiple paragraph over here, and if I have got multiple H1 content over here. So in that case, if I talk about the inline style sheet, each and every content you have to define over here with the all the attributes that you would like to apply over here. Whereas in your internal style sheet, you can save your time. That means we can simply declare one style sheet. That means we specify the style tag. So we, whatever this, the tags that you have used over here, like over here, let's say P, I have used as a paragraph, H1 as a head one. Okay. Now in that case, rather than coming to each and every portion of this contents over here, I can define over here the color, the attribute, the size, or the pixel, whatever I would like to apply to these contents above over here. That means it's going to save your time. If I've got more content just after this H1 below, if I've got another one H1 and I wrote some content, and if I have to apply that means if I have to apply the color, okay, one set of color for H1, both the H1 if I added more over here. So if I use the inline style sheet, I'll have to define in both the headings over here. Whereas with the internal style sheet, it's going to save your time. You can declare over here in style. That means if I go to the style and this paragraph P indicates over here selector. Don't forget, this is known as a selector. Now over here, P is working as a selector and H1 itself is also working as a selector. That means wherever I go and write style P, and in between this bracket, if I write the color dark red, whatever contents you have written inside this paragraph, no matter how many P you are having over here, it is going to apply this attribute. That means the color will come dark red. So if you have multiple paragraph over here, multiple contents are over here, you don't have to say that you have to apply this dark red for 2 or 3 or 4 times. So simply you write over here with the style, and that color will be applied to this paragraph itself, no matter how many contents you have over here. So similarly for H1 also, if you have got multiple H1 and the multiple content, multiple data over here, rather than specifying the color, okay, or the size or the pixel for the multiple time, you can simply declare only once with the help of the style and the color name given over here, and that is being called by the selector itself. That means it's going to save you a lot of time. And the last one what we have over here is the external style sheet. Sometime you might be managing or dealing with the multiple web pages. Actually you have more than one page, so in that case your internal style sheet may not be applicable to solve your problem. So this style sheet are actually used when you want to apply one style to many pages. That means you have multiple pages but the same style you would like to declare over here. But don't forget, this external style sheet is declared in an external file called .css extension, having this .css extension. So it is called by pages whose interface it will affect actually. That means the tag or the content that you would like to display over here in your page will remain in one portion. Whereas over here what we do now, we will create another one separate file with the extension .css extension, and these pages are going to get designed with the separate file that we have created with the CSS extension over here. That means all of this, see, last time if you remember, we use over here selector. See, selectors are used over here. Also we are using the selector. Honestly, see, we are using the selector, and if I use a P, that means wherever the P paragraphs are written over here, that selector color will be red. That means this page is controlled or designed with the another one separate page. So the only one advantage over here is that you can have a control, you can have a complete designing option to the multiple pages with the help of external style sheet, which is not possible with the internal style sheet. So over here, if you see the same thing I have used over here, okay, see selector, the same collector I have used over here, H1, wherever the contents are written with this H1 heading over here, so those selectors are going to be deployed the color green. That means it's going to save you a lot of time. I do understand this is just the beginning, okay, just a first class for your CSS tag. I hope it's going to, help you a lot to understand. By theoretical explanation, it might not be 100% clear to you. Now I'm going to take you to the practical scenario where I can show you all of these codes are typed practically, and you are going to understand completely. That is my belief that you are going to understand completely. Now let's go to the practical scenario and try to implement inline style sheet, internal style sheet and external style sheet. So how it look like, where do I have to type the code and entire thing, I'm going to show you. Now let's go to the area we are going to type. That means let's go to your editor where you are going to type the tag in order to see the output with the help of your CSS. Okay, now let's go to the Sublime text editor where we can see the practical implementation of all of those three types of your style sheet, that is inline, internal and external. So I'm going to open your Sublime text editor. Now we are going to write a coding over here. So this is the interface how your Sublime text editor looks like. Now first thing I'm going to do is to save this file. So I'm going to save this file. Okay, now the location I'm going to select over here for this file will be most probably in the desktop. I have one folder called CS. So let's use this, and the file name I'm going to give index.html. Okay, now I'm going to write a tag. You see, it's going to save your time in your Sublime text editor, so I don't have to write all of these things. Okay, now so here what we are going to do now, we are going to give a title. So I'm going to give a title for our page is, let's say, inline. Okay, so simply inline I have given over here. Now if you'd like to write some other name for, that means other title, it is up to you. It is up to you. You can write anything you want over here. Now the content that we're going to display over here will be most probably in the body section. So I'm going to write as we did last time. Okay, style, and don't forget style tag is used to declare your style sheet. So I'm going to write a color like last time we saw that over here. You can write any color, like let's say yellow. It's not mandatory that I choose last time, you have to give that only. So let's wind up over here. Now after giving this color yellow over here, you can provide the text that you would like to display. So let's say this text will get displayed in yellow. Okay, now this paragraph I need to close, so it's gonna save your time. Now the next paragraph that we're going to use, okay, can be anything or you can give as per your need. Now over here what I'm going to write a next paragraph. Okay, so next paragraph I'm going to choose the style. Now this time we are going to use the font as well. Okay, what you can do over here, you can choose the font display as well, you can use the font family as well, you can choose anything you like. It is up to you. So I'm going to use font size over here. Okay, so sorry, let's come over here. You can write font size. Okay, I can choose font size. So what would you like to have a font size? Let's say in our case 30 pixel. You can give anything you want, as I said. So what about the color? Okay, you can use the color as well for this one. So let's say red. Okay, or you can give dark red. It is up to you. Okay, now what content would you like to write over here in order to display with that attribute? That means with the effect of your style over here. So that's your inline style. So I'm going to write a text over here. Okay, so let's say this is text in red color. See, I'm going to do in the simplest form. Okay, so I'm going to write, so I'm going to close this paragraph. I need to close it. Okay, now let's say another one, last one I'm going to write. So that will be in a simplest form. Okay, let's say out of design, let's say. So it will come in by default, the easiest one. Okay, now I'm going to save it. Since the file is already saved, save once more time, and now you can simply right click and open in browser. Now you'll see the effect of this page. See here, This is the effect of your page. Now, if you want to see the script or the tag that you have used in order to display this content, if I see the paragraph over here, style, we have used the style sheet over here. With this style sheet, the first color that we have applied over here was the yellow. So that's why it's displaying the content over here, yellow. So if you would like to change the color, you can change over here, no problem. So let's say green. So I'm going to write green. So I'm going to save it and I'm going to refresh it. You see the data is displayed in a green color. And this is the font size. So what this paragraph style sheet font size we use 30 pixels. So if you'd like to see how the pixel also can be changed, I can make it 50, let's say the 50 pixel over here, and I'm going to save it and I'm going to refresh it over here. You see the size is increased now. So apart from that, if you see the last text that we have displayed over here, the last text, okay, so that last text is coming in a normal. So that means in inline style sheet, each and every content that you like to display over the browser has to be designed. So it's gonna take a lot of time. So that's why now we are moving towards the next style sheet. So that is your internal style sheet. Okay, now in internal style sheet, we are going to bring certain changes so that it's going to help you to understand. And don't forget that style sheet has to be defined by your style. That means the tag, and that tag we are going to use over here is the style itself. Okay, so that style sheet has to be used over here. That means the tag style has to be used over here. Okay, so now I'm going to modify this tag. So after head, I'm going to modify over here. Okay, so let's first come to the text one. So I'm going to remove all of this text and I'm going to design first text, my text one. Okay, body is already here. So I'm going to write paragraph first. Okay, first. So I'm going to close this one and let's make it P. Let's say second. It is up to you. Whatever content you are interested to write over here, actually you can write that. Okay, it's not mandatory to write the same that I'm doing all the time. Okay, so it's a second paragraph. So I'm going to close this one as well, and I'm going to give one more thing over here. Let's say H1. Okay, so I'm going to write H1 and I'm going to close as well. H1 is also now closed. Now the designing portion that we are going to do over here is not here. We are doing above here. So how your style sheet is declared? With the help of style sheet itself. Okay, and I don't need any of this. I don't need any of this. So simple, I'm going to define my own data over here. So that's why I'm going to use this. Okay, so I'm going to write style. Okay, now in between I'm going to write my data. So if you remember the first paragraph, I'm going to use over here for this one, okay, now I'm going to write over here, let's say color. So let's say red, dark red, no problem. Okay, and we do have another one. You see, that is the H1. H1 is also, that means we need to use the selector. So this first selector over here is the P. Now second selector, I'm going to use H1. See over here, this is H1. So this H1 I'm going to use as a selector. So now I'm going to choose a color, different color over here. So let's say the color that we want to use over here, which color? Let's say blue only, no problem. Blue violet, no problem. Now, if I refresh this page now, style is a pair tag. You'll have to close this one. Okay. Now, if I save it over here and I refresh this page, you'll find the content is displayed like this. Dark red, blue violet. Dark red, this over here, the selector is applied to the paragraph wherever P is written. See over here, see, if I highlighted this P is going to highlight it automatically. That means this effect is going to be applied to these content. That means first and second. Whereas if I come to H1, you see, as soon as I select H1, if you notice over here, H1 is also selected itself. You can write anything you want. Okay, it might be your table, your row and column, anything you want. So over here, the color that we have applied for that is the blue violet. So that's why, see over here at the left hand side, it's displaying the data in that format. Now over here, this was about the individual page controlling. That means individual page designing. What about I'm interested, okay, what about I'm interested to have a control for the multiple pages? That means the CSS is going to help us to design multiple pages with the help of one separate file that we call a CSS. So that's why now I'm going to create another one file. Okay, and let's save the file name as a, let's say, style.css. I'm going to give the name over here style.css. Now from here we are going to control all the contents that we are having over here. Okay, so we already have this P and your H. So let's remove this one, this style we don't need over here, and this way now we are using now external style sheet. And remember, in order to use the external this style sheet, you will have to have a link. So in order to use that link, just after the head you use the tag link, and so let's see the link, line, not a list item. We are not going to use over here list item. So this is your page that is empty so far. Okay, we have not written anything. Now I'm going to write link, and what is the name of your page that you have saved in order to apply all the designing portion of this page. So this might be multiple page. That's the file name is style.css. So I'm going to write style dot CSS. So this is the name of that file where you have complete controlling mechanism now. So let's see the content. So let's bring change in our content also. So P is over here, and I'm going to use only 2, okay, so that it saves your time. So now we are not going to apply any of the style sheet properties over here. This page, the content, see, for the sake of example, since we are in a lab environment, so I'm taking the minimum content so that it saves your time. Okay, so over here what we are doing now, we are using the external style sheet. In external style sheet, multiple pages can be designed with the help of one CSS file over here. So this is the page where the contents are written, but the designing portion will be done from here. But don't forget, we are using the selector over here again. So I'm going to use over here P for this one. See, for this P, and what attribute would like to apply with. So let's say color again, color. So which color? Give anything. Let's say pink. Okay, pink color is used over here. That is used as a selector for your paragraph P. That means this P, this one will get displayed in pink. Now after that we do have another content, that's a head one. That means H1. For H1 also I'm going to use over here. It's the same. There is nothing new. The difference is that multiple pages, whatever multiple pages you are having over here, they will be controlled by simple one CSS file. So 2, 3, 4 files, entire designing work will be done simply with the help of your one CSS file. So that is the beauty of this one. So I'm going to use another one attribute over here. So let's say again color only. Okay, why to waste the time? So let's say color. So which color I'm going to use over here? We can use over here, give any color. Let's give green only. Okay, green is here. Now I'm going to save this file. I'm going to save this as well. I'm going to come over here. You don't have to purchase over here. You can use the free also. Now refresh it. You see the contents are changed. That means multiple pages or multiple contents that you have over here also can be controlled. So one more example. See, if you would like to see one more example. So I'd like to give H2 and write content. So let's say my content of H2. Okay, and now I'm going to close this one. Okay, H2. I'm going to close it. Now here I'm going to use selector again. So I'm going to write H2. So which color? Let's say color. Let's say yellow. So I'm going to save it. Saved, come over here, refresh, boom, see now my content of H2 is given in different color. That means with the help of your external, okay, CSS style sheet, what you can do is that multiple pages or the multiple contents can be easily designed with the help of the file having the extension CSS. So we have used the style.css. So whatever contents you are having over here, even if you'd like to see the background image or the background color, entire things, of course we are going to see in the days to come. So this way 3 types of your style sheet can be used, which I have shown practically. That is inline style sheet, individual designing has to be there, internal style sheet, it saves bit your time, Okay, the content can be designed easily, but if you would like to have a designing control of more than one page, in that case we need to use your external style sheet, and that external style sheet is actually controlled by the separate CSS file that we have created over here. This is mandatory. No matter how many pages you have, you might be having other pages also, and they are also going to be controlled by this. So it's going to save you a lot of time, lot of effort. So I do believe that inline style sheet, internal style sheet, and external style, this style sheet was easy for you to understand. So if you find it fruitful, please do like and subscribe. In the next video, we are going to continue our journey with more CSS files. Thank you.